When you ask people what they want, oftentimes you get back what they wish they want, what they think they should want, especially when we're talking about, the topics we deal with. I think most of our readers would say climate change is probably the most important topic. Maybe it's more important than body image, so I should want to read more about it. But when it gets right down to it, it just doesn't engage them in the same way. So this becomes a really tricky thing to figure out. And the trend is everywhere. It happens with books. If you ask people, do they want to read Mandela's autobiography? Of course, everybody says yes. When you look at what people are actually reading, it's more like this, right? So why is that? And the author preference doesn't always make sense either. So you see this trend not just in topics, but also in writers. People might be reading 50 Shades of Grey, but it begs the question, if you want to read erotica, why not read really well-written erotica, right? I cannot for the life of me figure out why people aren't choosing Anne Rice's erotica novels if they want to read erotica. So it's very confusing to figure out, to glean any kind of coherent information that seems to make sense. A lot of this stuff is very counterintuitive. So lots of companies have turned to algorithms to fix this. They've said, let's stop trying to guess what people want and let's just, give them what they're already consuming. And if we did that, companies like Upworthy would say, okay, we're going to turn into a body image and gender stereotyping company. We're not going to talk about anything else, right? If we just use an algorithm to figure it out. But the problem with algorithms, and this is an example of a trending algorithm with Facebook and Twitter, is that what's new and trending is not always what's important. And I think for the book industry, it's not always what's high quality. So we get into this very dangerous ethical space if we just kind of relinquish all of our decision making to the algorithms.